find it by the end of the road. So I walk and I keep on walking, though the shoes I wear are a mess. As I walk and I keep on walking till I'm at the end of the road.
So sooner or later, this connection will be made with Amazon. We're going to go live anyway. So I didn't want to be one of those people that stares at the camera until I actually see it's live on Amazon, and it just went live. So you guys are, I know you're there. So interesting situation today. We thought we'd try this out. I'm in our studio, which happens to be in my house. And I'll tell you more about that in a minute. And my co-host, Shelley Carney, is where, Shelley?
Well, look at me. I'm in the land of enchantment in my beautiful library, and just enjoying some hot chocolate in my Kasori hot chocolate mug with
Yeah.
my Kasori hot pad that it sits on and keeps it warm for me.
And we're going to
So
talk about
yeah.
that. That was the other thing. That
Mhm.
was the other reason I wanted Shelley to be at home tonight, because she has a lot of items that we have purchased, that she and Kevin have purchased off Amazon, but are not in the studio. So we've set up. I say we, like I mean in the royal we, set up a studio at her house. So that she has a place to work from when we can't be in. At the beginning of the pandemic, of course, there were times where we just couldn't get together. It didn't make sense. So we set up a studio in her house. We're going to talk about the items, some of the items that we needed in order to do that. But first, I want to show you a little bit about what we want to talk about tonight. And the first thing I want to share is, when I say studio, I mean when we're here, we're actually in a studio. I bought this house about 3 years ago. It'll be 3 years in March. And when I did it, I'm what do they call them? Empty nester. My children are out of the house. I think my youngest is now 31 or 32. And so when I bought this house, I bought a third bedroom. I had a room for myself, a room for guests, and then it had the third bedroom. And we decided then that we were going to take, Shelley and I decided then that we were going to take and turn the third bedroom into a studio. And I've actually made a video of it, and I had a lot of help doing it. I'll show you in a video that you're going to see. There's actually a green screen behind me. I'm going to turn off my green screen for just a second, and then I won't be able to get back. Watch. Can I do this? No green screen. There we go. So that's my green screen. All right. I noticed there's a little faux pas down there. So let me go back to my studio image. There we go. All right. Where'd Shelley go? Did I lose Shelley? Oh, did you?
I'm right.
Oh.
I got some text, so I was looking
Oh,
at my phone.
taking care of it. All right. No worries. Is that your daughter wondering if we're going to play games tonight?
Yes.
How
She
bad?
says, I don't see anything on YouTube.
Yeah, we play
Just started.
games, Jackbox games with some of our friends, and Shelley's daughter, Alicia, is a big fan, and was wondering if we're going to play games tonight with that. Nah, we're going to be on Amazon tonight. So we decided to come with you guys. So what I did earlier in the day, so Amazon likes when we show that the products that we're actually talking about, we actually have. And of course, it's hard to show you that I'm using a Rodecaster Pro for audio purposes when I'm using it while we're talking to you. So what I did is I made it's short, it's like 4 minutes long, so bear with me. But I'm going to give you a complete tour of our studio while Shelley handles her incoming text messages. Here we go. Hey everybody, this is Toby Eunice with Videotero Live, and I wanted to give you a little tour of our studio because we're going to be talking about a lot of the equipment that's in our studio tonight. I do want to make it a point that this really is our studio because we've even painted the back wall green so that we have a green screen effect. You'll see it on my side. Our lighting, we have two separate sets of lights, but they're both the same CFLs. They're 125 watt CFLs. We have one set specifically to light the back, the green screen, and then one to light us. And this what gives us the very even lighting that you see. In addition to that, we have these new house chairs. They're wonderful, beautiful, easy to sit in chairs. We spend a lot of hours in this studio, so we wanted to find the most comfortable chairs that we could. And these new house fit the bill. In addition to that, you'll save yourself $40 because they come with the rollerblade wheels, and there's mine and one for Shelly when she's in the studio as well. Pieces of furniture include these Husky desktops. They're clean. They're made of wood. We have two of them. One is around 46 inches and the other is around, I think, 52 inches, maybe a little bit longer than that. But the cool thing about them is they roll on wheels. And the wheels are really good. As a matter of fact, we're going to be, although these wheels are very good, we're going to be replacing them with the rollerblade wheels that we're going to buy from Amazon as well. But the other cool thing about it is they raise and lower on this arm, and you can lower them to desk height or you can raise them to standing height. So let me show you a little bit about the tools that we use, the equipment that we use. First of all, our favorite thing in the whole world are these Audio Technica sports headsets, because that way we can wear the headset, the microphone's right in front of us. Our best tool is our audio tool, and that's the Rodecaster Pro. We've owned it for about 3 years, and as a matter of fact, if you're watching us on the live stream tonight, we're using it to control our audio. We'll talk a little bit about that and why we love it so much. We haven't found anything better since we bought it, and we spend a lot of time looking at equipment. We will be talking about, although I didn't buy my iPhone from Amazon, we will be talking about the case that it has for it. I did buy my iPad. We use that as a studio monitor during the while we're shooting live, and I also have a case for that we're going to talk about. Our two big monitors are 32-inch monitors from BenQ, right there, and they're on a Vivo desk mount. And what's cool about that desk mount is we can move it up and down, turn it around. It gives us a lot of flexibility as we're watching the monitor. Our camera is a 925C made by Logitech. It is a 1080p camera and it gives us a great image. Our audio monitors are PreSonus. We'll be talking about those as well. And last but not least, I think, a couple of things. Number one, the computer that we use for live streaming is a Dell workstation. But we got it renewed for a very good price. It has 32 gigabytes of memory, a 2 terabyte hard drive, and a very powerful processor. We've never had a problem streaming with that. And then finally, our Canon color laser printer, which prints out the most beautiful prints you've ever seen in your life. But of course, I'm biased. I apologize for my wire mess back there. I just made a change in the studio and I haven't wrapped all my wires yet. I've only partially wrapped them. It'll be a lot cleaner the next time you see the studio. So I'm glad you're with us tonight. I hope you enjoy this tour of our studio and the equipment we use. And I can tell you that all of the equipment that we've listed in our store is tested and approved by us. If it is in our store, if it isn't in our store, it is likely that we tried it out and it didn't work for us. So I guess that's the best way to describe it. Join us tonight. Should be a lot of fun, and you'll get to see our studio. Thanks.
And we're back.
So
Live.
I'm going to ask you a question. You remember the other night when we were streaming, or the other day when we were streaming, and you were using the iPad as a studio monitor?
Yeah.
How did you keep the screen from going blank?
kept
Oh,
kept
did you?
touching it.
There's something in settings that I need to change.
Yeah,
'Cause it's kinda
there's
silly to
you can do it
have
in settings.
I mean, I don't need to watch it. Okay. So, well, I do need to see it because I want to go.
Well,
Let's.
I've got the live on my other monitors, and my second monitor, so
Oh, I guess I could do that.
that's
No,
what I did.
I got too much going on over here already. All right. So let's start with the items that are at your house so that we can talk about them. Okay.
All right.
So, and what that means is you're going to have to pick one, feature it, and then talk about it. Okay. And
Well, I
I'll
like to. You said you didn't buy your iPhone at Amazon, but we did buy mine there, and it's a refurbished iPhone 8,
oh, actually,
and
just
I
do it.
can use a wireless charger to charge my phone, which is awesome. So I
I'm
can
gonna
just
I'm
lay
gonna
it
bring that
down
up
on
on the
there,
screen. There we go.
and I have the Anchor model wireless charger. and it's pretty cool. All you gotta do is plug in the charger, but when you come in the room, you just lay your phone on there and it starts charging it right away, real easy. There's nothing to it. I love it. It's quiet and you don't have to fumble around in the dark for a cord to try to plug it in. You just lay it on top and you can feel your phone go, give it a little buzz, and you know it's charging.
A haptic response is what they call that.
Indeed, indeed. And that's the Anchor wireless charger. Real versatile. Then the next thing I'll tell you about is
Hang on, I'm
the
going to go back.
Kasori. As you can
Are
see,
you
this
changing the featured thing on this? On the carousel?
I did, yes.
Okay.
This is the Kasori coffee mug, and you can get the Kasori heating pad that comes with it, so you can keep your drink hot. And I use that every day with my coffee. I'm using it tonight for hot chocolate, and it's a nice metal cup, very sturdy and long lasting,
Insulated?
and keeps your drinks hot. It's not a very thick metal because it needs to conduct the heat through the bottom to keep your coffee hot by setting it on that hot pad. But the hot pad, you can adjust the temperature. I keep mine at 150 degrees Fahrenheit. That's the temperature I like my drink, my coffee or my hot chocolate. And you can take it cooler or hotter depending on how hot you like your drink. Or as your drink gets lower in the cup, you might want to bring the temperature down a little bit because it can get a little hotter. But it's awesome. I love it. I use it every day.
I'm going to have to get one of those for my birthday.
Yeah, that's what I did. I got it for my birthday. They're awesome. I love them. I highly recommend it. I use the Kasori. It's perfect. It's I should get another one for downstairs. I like, this is my upstairs one, and then I should get one for downstairs. What do you
I'm
think?
still trying to figure out how to not to prevent this screen from going blank on me.
Oh, well, we'll talk about the one other thing that's in my house. Or
Yeah.
there's two other things, I
Two
guess.
other things. Where do you want to go? Green screen or audio interface? Rui Pua. Green screen?
Okay, we'll show the green screen that I got for Christmas. Oops, slide that over. If you take a look at that green screen on the screen, that's what I have behind me. It's secret. But yeah, I'll take it down and you can see that it's virtual background. We'll
It
remove
just says no background. There's an option for no background. There you go.
We'll remove it and make me full screen so you can see that behind me. Oops.
Whoops. You gotta do it from your side.
There we go.
There you go.
I am here. This is a green screen. And it's beautiful. It's wonderful. I love it. It's perfect for, you can
What we're doing
change
right
the
now.
screen to whatever you want to change it to and, have whatever look you want. So I could be, I could have a brick wall, or I could be in the same room that Toby and I are usually in, or I could decorate for Christmas real quick. I could be in a fancy office. I can be where I could have Santa fly by, whatever I need to have. It's real convenient. And if my office happened to be a mess, then it would be a great way to just cover that up. And here's something else you can look at.
Not that Shelley doesn't have a very nice background in her office. My background in this office is a green screen, but if she wants, she can remove that green screen. I'm sorry, put up that green screen or take it down. When you take it down, she's got a very nice office, and it's very cool. You have yours in the horizontal position. Is that right? This one shows you vertical.
Yes.
And it comes,
Yeah, you can go either way, whichever works best for you.
yeah, if there's something, if you're doing kind of a standing presentation, you can
Yeah.
make it vertical and do your presentation in front of a green screen.
And
It's
if you just decide at the last minute you want to put it up, it takes about 3 minutes to just pop it open, put up that stand. It clip it in, and you're ready to go. Super
Yeah,
easy.
yeah.
A and
And
this
then
is
to
how
fold
you
it
put
up,
it away.
some people get nervous about folding up any of these
It takes
pop-ups.
3 minutes to put it away.
Yeah,
Fold
yeah.
it up, put it in its bag, zip it up, put it away. Real
So
easy.
there's the clip. You can after you open the light stand, it's got one of those clips that we showed you yesterday that we use for our reflectors, and it has the same clip, and you just hang it on that. Easy setup, easy takedown, doesn't take up a lot of space, comes in a bag. So once you fold it up, it just fits right into the bag. It's very cool and works perfectly. And we had to set up additional lighting in here. One of the things, Shelly and I have worked in television studios before and set up television studios. And one of the things that you learn about television studios is that you have to light the green screen separately from the foreground. In her case, she had enough light. She has a light setup that we're going to talk about in just a bit, very similar to the one we have in the studio. But she didn't have to put on additionally light to light the green screen. It was enough light so that it lit the green screen enough to make it good. And the product that we use for live streaming actually is designed to support a green screen. So, did you change your? You're just going to keep changing rooms
I
until
can
you.
be anywhere. It can be any time of day. It's
That's very
Christmas
good. We're gonna have to
again.
start getting night scenes.
I'm
So,
outdoors.
we were doing a show on one of our other programs once, and it was nighttime, and the windows were showing daylight. So people kept asking us, "Where are you? Why is there daylight coming through the windows? It's not coming through the windows. It's coming through the green screen."
That's right. It's a lot of
All right.
fun to
So
use, and,
it's the last
a
thing that
really good
yeah,
deal.
I'm
What
sorry.
is it? I say how it's a really good deal, right? How much
The
is it?
green screen?
70. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. It is very inexpensive for a green screen. 72.99 for
72.99.
Prime. I don't see any deals on it right now, but you can get it as early as Sunday, for gosh sakes. So they must
Mhm.
have it. You know what? They're using my address for
Oh,
this. Might take
yeah.
longer, but we have an Amazon warehouse in Albuquerque, so a
As
lot
you
of
can
our
see,
things
Toby bought it for me in December for Christmas.
you can see these are all. So we're looking at my Amazon. I should probably sign out of my Amazon so you don't see because you'll see when I bought all these items. So just to prove to you that I did buy them, I did indeed buy them. All right, let's talk about let me talk about your audio interface for just a minute. So the headsets that we use, these Audio Technica headsets, we're going to show them to you in a little bit, are made for professional sports broadcasters. They're very good headset and an excellent microphone that doesn't pick up any external sound. It's designed to this because you can imagine sports broadcasters being in a stadium, and you don't want all that background noise. You want it kind of background, but you don't want it overwhelming the broadcaster's voice. That's why broadcasters don't have to yell. They have this. We like it for a couple of reasons. Number one, we don't have to stay in a certain place at our desk here. Number two, when our head turns, like Shelly and I talk to each other, when our head turns to address each other, the microphone goes with us. It's not over here, and you start losing sound. Well, those plug into our Rodecaster Pro, but Shelly doesn't have a Rodecaster Pro at her house. So we got her, and I'm going to go full screen, Shell. So
I was like, "Oh, you can't see this, but
yeah,
here it
go ahead,
is."
pull it in. So
That's as
this
far
is
in as I can bring it because it's plugged in, and I'm using it right now. So
yeah. So this is the Ruipoa uh, audio interface, and it has a XLR pin input and a 1/4 inch output. So that means, and that's what this has. I can't unplug it because you won't be able to hear me. So that was necessary as an interface between Shelly's sports broadcaster headset and her computer. She has exactly the same computer at her house that we have here in the studio. We got her one of those so that everything was matched. Turn it around so they can see the front of it, so they can see the controls all the way around.
this
Nope,
is the
the other,
controls.
that's the back.
That's the no, this
Oh,
is
is
the
that the
back.
front? I'm sorry. You're right. That is the controls as
Sorry,
well
I
as the
can't.
plugs.
That's the back.
Yeah, which is the power supply, basically power connection, and then the front. Do you have
That's the
enough
front.
cable to do that? Yeah.
See the front? That
They
that's the
run $82. They can be
XLR, and that's the
the
what do you
quarter
call
inch
it?
phono.
1/4 inch. Yeah, phono.
Yeah.
And then the knobs.
And then and they compete with a product called the Scarlett. And if you want another product, it does exactly the same thing, but it's about twice the price.
And this is
So
how you do the volume. Real easy.
really, it's barely an inconvenience.
That's right.
And these microphones are perfect. Shelley has a great radio voice, and these microphones prove that they pick up her voice really, really well.
Yeah, I'm a
That's
soft talker, so yeah,
yeah.
I need something that's going to pick it up.
Yeah, and we make a slight adjustment when she's in the studio. Her microphone is set just a little bit higher than mine so that we can equalize them. But the Rodecaster has internal controls that enable us to mix the mics, each mic individually. But we'll talk about those headsets in just a minute. We really like them. And if I want at any point on the Rodecaster, I can just mute myself.
I can't hear you.
That was the idea, right? So you can see my mouth moving, but you can't hear anything. So let's take one more look at that. And it's called Rui Pool. I don't know what the company is, probably Chinese. But we've had that for what, about a year now on your side? Not
6
that long,
months.
about 6 months on your side, because we wanted Shelley to have pretty much the same setup at her house.
Right, because
Yeah.
I had this other headset before, which we also recommend because it's a lower priced headset. It's also in one of our stores. But because Toby was able to secure a Audio Technica for me to have at home, we went ahead and got the audio interface.
And actually, what happened was I was on eBay one day, and there was a company selling two more. We have the two that we have in the studio, and they were selling a pair of them for the price of one. They were new open boxes, and they were selling two of them for the price of one. So we got an additional one that gave us the ability to send one over to Shelley's house, and then we use the other one when we do interviews in the field. So we're very happy when I'm going to talk about it anymore. So is there anything else at your house that we can talk about before we go on to what the studio looks like?
Oh, that's all I have in the that's all I
studio?
have in the store for tonight.
Okay, let's go back, and I'm going to start. I think I'm going to start backwards with the Husky desktops. Is that okay?
Instead of the headset?
Instead of the headset. Yeah, I'll get to the technology. I'm going to do it like when I walked into the room. So you'll see them here. I'm going to go back to this picture here. And I'm going to stay when I'm not on screen, let me know, because you can control it from there too.
Mm-hmm.
So there's the headsets, but what I'm going to talk about first are these two Husky desktops. You can see I've hung my headset on the handle. There's the handles there. They're wheels, and they raise to standing height and lower to desktop height. So we like them a lot. When you get them, they're going to be in a box. I'm going to leave that open, and then I'm just going to go back to this page here. When you get them, they're in a box, and you'll have to assemble it. And I'm going to recommend that you have a ratchet with you with hex heads on it, Allen nut heads on it, because they do send you a wrench with it, but it'll take you forever to do it with that wrench. This is what they look like. They're very sturdily built. They're heavy, which is why it's a good thing that they're on the wheels. We haven't had to move them out of the studio, but I think it would take two people to move it. That's how heavy they are.
You did have to move it when you got the new floor.
Oh, that's right. So there was, Shelley makes a really good point. There was, and we only had one of them at that time, right? We didn't have the second one.
You only had one in the studio, yeah.
Yeah. So this studio, when I moved in, this had carpet in it. And it was cumbersome for us. We had wheelchairs, and you know how carpet is with wheelchairs.
Wheeled office chairs, not wheelchairs.
Yeah, not wheelchairs. Not wheelchairs.
Just wheelchairs.
Wheeled chairs.
And we got the Husky 52-inch table to set up on, so we'd have plenty of room for both monitors and the Rodecaster, and both of us to sit at.
And a keyboard and mouse. So it gives
mouse.
us plenty of room, as you can see in that picture.
Mm-hmm.
And
sometimes I set up my laptop on my side of the table, so we need that room.
And as Shelley said, several months ago, I had the carpet in here. I had my house redone, but I had instead of putting carpet again in this room, we put that wood. It's a faux wood. It looks like wood, but it's not. It's more durable than wood, and it saves trees. I guess I don't know. So we got one of these. This is a husky. I noticed that you have to buy it from another vendor on Amazon, and that was about the price we paid in the 329 range for it. And that's the pricing low to high. I've seen a couple on here that are Prime, so you can get the free shipping. But be careful when you open it to make sure if you are Prime, so that you do get the free shipping with it because it's a heavy box. And
That's
make
right.
sure there's somebody home when it arrives, so that they can just help you lug it in. It's pretty heavy. So that's the one that's in front of us right now. That's sitting in
Mhm.
front of me. If you go back, we also several months ago we got a smaller one, and you can see that on the video. You can't see it on the image, but that's where we put all the equipment when we do like one of our small set Amazon lives. I put all the equipment on it. You know, got flashes and 3 axis DJI gimbals for
And
phone.
in that way, it's easy to move around the room because
Yeah.
sometimes he has it behind him, but then we need to move it to the side of him when we're gonna, do a show because it blocks the green screen.
So
There
I
it
could
is.
just bring it around here with all my stuff on it. It's pretty messy right now. Well, it's not messy. It's just that I have all the stuff from the last show that we did. But you can see it's real easy to move around with the wheels on it. I can move it right out of the way. So very cool, very easy, and
Yeah, once
very
it's
easy
set
to.
up, anybody can move it. It's real easy
Yeah,
to move.
yeah, yeah. So those are made by Husky, which is an American brand. So they tend to be a little bit more expensive. So I'm going to let Shelly talk about our new
They're
house.
heavy duty. About the new house chairs?
Yeah, for a couple of reasons. Number one, I'll show pictures while you're doing that. She was the one. So we had some chairs in here, and honestly, because you have to sit up a little bit higher in order to make the green screen normalized, etc. So we had some. They were like they weren't bar stools; they were bar chairs, and they weren't made to sit through an hour and a half long show. They were really uncomfortable. You know, your back was ruined by the time the show was. So Shelley was the one that kind of forced the issue and said, "We need to get some chairs." And I said, "Oh,
I love how you just maneuver the story into your own favor.
well,
Every time we would do a show, which was at least once a week, if not 2 or 3 times a week, every single time at the end of the show, Toby would say, "I don't like these chairs. We need to get new chairs. Blah, 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 chairs." And I said, finally said one day, "Well, then let's get some. Let's do it right now." So we started shopping around on Amazon for chairs. We looked at gamer chairs, we looked at office chairs. We tried to make a good decision about what kind of chair would be the best. And we settled on these and we love them. It was a really good decision. We highly recommend them. They're very sturdy. They roll very easily. They have the velvet down the center, so if you're wearing shorts or a
you know,
skirt or
stick
something, you do not stick to the chair like we were. I was always sticking to those other chairs. They had the fake leather, the pleather or whatever surface, and I was always sticking to them if I was wearing shorts or whatever. So these are better than that because you don't stick to them. The arms will fold up out of the way.
this
They
tip.
are a little bit wider. So if you're a little bit wider person like we are, then
You don't
you're
have
going
to
to
say
appreciate
we.
that.
You can say don't
But
we.
but we kind of do run into each other with the arms. So we can fold the arms back, or I can fold my arm back and he can leave his down. So we don't bump arms when we're doing a show together, which we love that. They do show you that you can lay back with it a little bit. We don't mess with the back. We like it where it's at. You can go up and down with the chair so it's comfortable for you, or if you need to raise it for, to be higher in your shot, you can do that very simply. And we put them together. They come in pieces and you need to put them together, but It took us maybe half an hour to
For
assemble
the
each
two of them.
chair, and we did it together, and it was not difficult and super sturdy, real easy to use and to love. I just highly recommend them. Anybody who comes over to Toby's and sits in the chair wants to buy those chairs. People see us sitting in them and they're always asking, "Are those comfortable? How do you like your chair? I need a new chair." And we're like, "Oh, yeah, you got to get these chairs. And they're so good." Because we do sit there for hours
Yeah,
sometimes
yeah,
and we don't notice it anymore. I
yeah.
mean, my ears get tired from wearing a headset all day before I get tired of sitting in the chair.
So I had my kids and my grandchildren over for Thanksgiving dinner, and they wanted to watch a movie after dinner, and there aren't enough seats in the living room to handle all the kids and all the grandkids. So I pulled one of these out, and my son-in-law, Daryl, sat down in it. And within a few minutes, he was talking, he was leaning over and talking to my daughter and saying, like, we need to get these chairs. And they literally ordered them while they were sitting there watching the movie. So they had them shipped to their house. I do want to make a point here, and you can see it on this shot. They do come with the blade wheels. And what's good about that is that in this price, it looks like it's a little bit more expensive. But if you don't have them, if you get the normal, office wheels that are made of plastic, um, ordering the blade wheels, they will fit, but they cost you $40 more. So it's good that they come with the blade wheels already or with the chair. You'll have to install them. But like Shelley said, they're the most comfortable chairs that we've ever had. And you can tilt the seat back to 135 degrees, and you can see right here. I need to open that to do
Hi,
that.
I'm Next Gen Derek.
Whoa,
I
I
think
don't
I'm
know who
looking
that
for a
is.
new gaming chair.
Well, there's somebody else because we can have Derek. There's a video there. But what I was going to tell you was, what was I going to tell you about the 35 thing there? Let's see if it'll open up in the right place. The point is, there's a handle underneath the chair or a screw thing, and it adjusts the spring on going back if you want to sit back. I don't need that. I need something that's right behind me. There's a 10% discount I noticed on it right now, so that might be a good deal for you.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back. What do we have next? So I think I want to talk about the monitors first, and then the monitor mount.
All right. Let me
Let's go to the
see.
monitors.
Monitors.
So the monitors we have right in front of me in the studio, there are two of them. We use the BenQ 32-inch monitor. They run $399 a piece, but they're regular $699. They are amazing monitors. They're made for gamers, so they're very high resolution. They're 4K HDR, really, really high resolution. And honestly, we very much underutilize them. uh they're really made for more. There are less expensive 32-inch monitors that you can get from BenQ, but if you sit in front of a monitor as as much as a gamer does or as much as a live streamer does, do your eyes a favor and buy the best possible monitor that you can get, and this is one of the best. We like it a lot. You saw them in the video, and I noticed that their shipping time is extended on them, but that might be because it's post Christmas, um, and they come with a stand. They are you can assemble them and put them on the stand that you can see there. But what we've done is we got, where'd it go? This. So this is the Vivo aluminum full movement monitor, dual monitor desk mount. It has a screw mount to the desk. It sits right in the middle of our Husky desktop. And then uh, it has, as you can see right here, it has these holes that come with screws. And you can just screw your monitors. The monitors already have the screw holes in them. The Vivo comes with the correct screws, so you can screw each of the monitors on these. They're very stable, very durable. You can adjust it from a height perspective. This is adjustable here, and then the arms are completely adjustable. And even though you set them in one position, all you have to do is touch it to raise the monitor, to push it back, to swing it around. It has all that control. Sometimes when I'm sitting over on this side, I'll need that monitor over there to kind of face my way so I can see what's going on. And you can do that with the arm. The other cool thing about this particular model is down at the bottom, it has a pair of USB ports. So, for example, if we want to charge our phones, we can just plug them into those USB ports at the top of the mount, and then it has cables leading from the back of the uh, dual monitor desk mount. It has USB cables going that you can send to the computer, so it's very convenient.
Well,
And like,
now what I've seen you do is you plug in like a thumb drive or something,
mhm,
right? And I was like, "Oh, you can do that? You can plug in a thumb drive right there and it reads it on the computer?" You're like, "Yeah, because it's plugged into the computer." I
right,
was amazed by that. So
yeah.
that's pretty cool.
When I'm moving photos around, photos or videos around, I just plug the thumb drive, whatever. And usually I'm coming out of like a drone, and the drone has a micro SD card. And so I have a micro SD to USB adapter, put the micro SD card in. I should have added that to the store and plug it in right here in front of me so I don't have to go goofing around with the back of the or the front of the desktop computer. It's very convenient. So
So,
very nice, very
yeah,
convenient. Let me go to the big
yeah,
picture.
very, very
See?
sturdy.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no shake in them. It's not like they're wobbling.
Right.
You can move it. There's a spring assist on both arms and the levers. You can tighten them as much as you want. You can, if you find a place that you're happy with where both monitors are, you can lock them down. It has some Allen nuts in there that enables you to lock them down. We leave them just barely loose. The springs are at about the right tension where we want them, so that it's kind of a touch movement. If you want to raise it, you can do that. But we've left the arms unlocked so that we can move them around. Sometimes I've noticed Shelly sometimes will have to lean over to look at something that I have on my monitor because our studio, our StreamYard interface is right here, and she can't see it when she's sitting over here. So I just pull it this way, and we can both see it at the same time. So very nice, very convenient. One of those good, you know, organizational investments that you make
Yeah.
that really
We
helps.
we do highly recommend having 2 monitors if you're gonna be doing live streaming. Uh, and as you can see, this gentleman is doing 2 monitors, and it's so much, space saving when you can just, clamp that onto the back of your table there, and of course, you've seen the tables that we have, the Husky table, very similar to what he's using in this picture, and, it just such a space saving and you get to, have 2 different things going on with your monitors. It just it really saves you. If you're gonna do a presentation, you can have your presentation on one screen and your, StreamYard or your, streaming app in front of you, and it just keeps everything so well organized, and you can do so much more when you
Right.
have the 2 monitors.
Yeah, going back
Yeah.
and forth. And as an example, so I have StreamYard running here, and I'm looking at that interface, and I have the windows that I'm showing to you on this other monitor over here. And so it's real easy for me to keep track of like what I'm showing, where I'm going, and all I'm doing is you can see I know that I've moved my mouse, my cursor over to this side as I'm going through each one of these. That's how it looks now. They do provide an option that if you have a wooden desk and you want to screw it into your wooden desk, you do have that option to it. We chose the clamp, and it's a very sturdy, hard screw clamp with a good handle on it, and it hasn't moved since we installed it. There's those USB ports that I was talking about that make it real easy to do stuff. And then here's the other nice thing about it that was very cool. Once you install the mounts on the monitor, you basically snap them in to the desk unit. If you need to move the monitors or if you need to move the desk unit and you don't want the monitors on, it just has a spring clip. So you pop that spring clip, lift the monitor out, and you don't have to move the device itself. So it has some very cool features that make it very usable. That was the last thing I was going to mention. It has some cable organizers for you. So
Mhm.
you don't have, as a matter of fact, the neatest thing in here when it comes to cables is my monitors, because there's just a lot of cables. We got a lot of cables going on. So that is the Vivo Premium Aluminum Full Motion Dual Monitor Desk. You'll see it in the video that I showed you at the beginning of the show. All right.
And I have 2 monitors too, but I don't have one of those fancy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're on the desk. They're just sitting on the desk.
Should we get you one? Do you need one?
No,
I can.
I don't know. I mean, because I only sit here alone. We sit at your table together, so we really need the space. But
That's a
I'm
good
good
point.
with I'm good with having these on the desk. They're fine.
All right. So let's go for, if you're an audiophile or an audio addict like me, let's go to the favorite toy I have in this studio, and that is the Rodecaster Pro podcast production studio. Now, they call it a podcast production studio. Here's what's happening. I'm going to open up the other screen here so you can see it, because I want to show you some of the back things right here. So this is the back of the Rodecaster Pro. Right now, this headset has, I don't know if you can see them, but it has 2 wires in it, 2 attached wires that go down to the end. And when you order them, you can order them in whatever configuration you want. The configuration we chose was the headphones part of it in a 1/4-inch phono, which is pretty much industry standard, and the microphone to get the best resolution. I don't know what's the word for the audio version of resolution. I'll think of it.
The best
You want
sound.
it,
I don't know.
pardon me?
Sound quality. I don't know.
Sound quality, but you want an XLR connector. That's the professional audio connector. Here's the back of the Rodecaster Pro, and as you can see, it can handle, and this is, I think, why they call it a podcast device made for podcasters. They do call it the Rodecaster Pro, and it's all digital. It'll support up to 4 microphones using XLR inputs. Now, that is kind of the only disadvantage that I have found about it. What it means is, if you have a microphone that is connected with a 3.5 millimeter connection, a USB connection, or a 1/4-inch phono connection, you can't use that microphone with this mixer. I'll explain what you have to do as a result. Okay. Then, because you've got 4 microphones, it also has 4 headphone outputs. And that is the 1/4-inch phono. And I knew that before we bought these headsets. And I knew that when you order them from Audio Technica, they give you the option of how to configure input and output. And so it was really easy to say, we want the microphone side to be XLR and the headphone side to be 1/4-inch phono. And you can see that's kind of how it's designed. These are for the studio monitors. And the reason you want a studio monitor is sometimes you want to listen to things without having to have the headset on. So you turn the headsets off. We turn them off, and then turn your studio monitors on, and that way you can hear it in your studio. This is a micro SD card slot. So that you can put a micro SD card in there, and it will record for you. There's a record button right on top of the Rodecaster Pro, and you can record anything. Now, we don't have to necessarily, because the streaming product that we use, StreamYard, actually records both audio and video, so we don't have to do it anyplace else. But what's cool about this one is it records every track separately. So, for example, if I had 4 people talking, it would record those tracks separately. Then it records the output tracks separately. It records the USB track separately. So if I had music playing from my computer, it would record that track separately. I have an interface for a cell phone, and I can do it one of 2 ways. I can plug
Would you
it
show
in.
the top of the Rodecaster again?
I'm going to go to that in just a minute. But I wanted to talk about this recording first, because it is, once you have one of these recordings and you bring it into your recording software, you have all the tracks. That means you can edit one track without affecting the others. If somebody's talking louder or cough during a someone else's conversation, you can edit that out. This is the USB connection for to connect the Roadcaster to your computer, and that's the interface, the in and out interface between us and the computer. So it's going into the Roadcaster, going from there to the computer USB port, and then you guys are hearing it. But I have controls, so if I wanted to raise my volume here, lower my volume, I did that backwards. If I want to raise my volume here or lower my volume, I can do it there. But I also have control over. I got to do that much slower. But I also have control of the output track. So again, I could raise it here and it would go up, but not as high as if I raised it on my microphone. That's just the generic track. This is the power supply. It comes with a power supply, and this is the on-off button. And then there's one of those little locking things that if you have a cable lock, you can plug it in there. I've never actually learned how to use one of those. I'm kind of embarrassed to say. So that's the back of it. That's what it looks at from the side. There is a case you can buy. It is not made by Rode. It is made by one of the case manufacturers, but it's expensive. It's like $180. So I haven't, and it doesn't move. So this is kind of the idea, and that's, this is an audio studio, but you can see they have it set up with 4 microphones. It has 4 microphone audio input and output controls. This is what this pretty thing looks like. Now, one of the things that I want to mention to you is just if you walk in at night and all the lights are off and the Roadcaster is still on, it's like, oh, I just got to play with that because it's so beautiful. So these are, I was going to say, this is a full digital audio control. It is not a mix. It is a mixer, but not in the traditional analog sense. It is digital. What's important about it being digital is they continue to make upgrades to it, and you can download the upgrades and install it, and you get features that you had when you didn't that you didn't have when you bought it 3 years ago. And I'll tell you about one of the kind of cool ones that we got. So here are your microphone input controls, sliders. You can also turn off either speaking or listening. So if you have a person that's kind of interrupting you, you can just turn them off right here. This is your master mix slider here. This is if you plug in your phone. So there's 2 ways to connect your phone to the mixer. One way is to connect it from whatever your phone's output is. In the case of our iPhones, it's a Lightning. In the case of the iPad, it's a USB-C. But let's say I wanted to connect my phone into this conversation and say, well, just call me on my phone and you can ask your questions. That's what I can do right here just with a 3.5 millimeter input. So it's Lightning to 3.5 millimeter. And it's a cable connection. But here's something even cooler. I can connect via Bluetooth, which means I can connect audio interfaces, MIDI audio interfaces using Bluetooth, or I can take my iPad or iPhone or Samsung Galaxy. I don't know a lot about them, so I won't talk about them. I'm not an iPhone guy. Via Bluetooth, and now my phone is connected to the computer. To the Roadcaster, and then to the computer. And I have a volume slider for them. Excuse me. And I have an on-off. So if I'm talking to someone and I don't like what they're saying, I can just shut them down and they have to listen to me. So we used to do a talk show. Now I get myself the hiccups. So these right here are called sound pads. And what you can do is find a recording on your computer or something that you like on Spotify. Don't do it on Spotify because YouTube will hate it. But
go to YouTube and get some free music.
Go to YouTube, get some free music, or go to Epidemic Sound and get free non-copyright music. But you can put them on here. But the other cool thing to do, I'm going to play a couple of them for you. You can put sound effects on it. So,
yay! Sound effects. Womp womp.
Got a rim shot there.
That's been my week, man. Womp 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 womp.
That's been my week.
Spooky.
I saw a goat outside. Yeah. Oh, that was not a very funny joke. So when we bought this 3 years ago, you had the ability to put 8 sounds on there. You could color them, and you do this with software. You do it on your desktop, basically. You open up the sound and you drag it over to the top. Since then, they have made improvements. So now you can have up to 8 sets. So you can have up to 64 sounds. So we have different sound sets for each of our clients and their music and their sound effects. So you can have 8 sets of sound pads and it's all changed digitally. The screen up here is a touch screen. So you control the entire Rodecaster Pro through the touch screen, and you can see there's a settings gear right there. And you press that settings gear and you go to levels of settings, whether they're related to the microphone sliders, the input USB slider, the telephone via cable slider, the telephone via Bluetooth slider, or the sound pad slider. So it is very capable, and it's inexpensive in comparison. I mean, you can buy a 4-channel mixer for $59, an analog mixer, and I've had those. I mean, I've owned them. This one is 10 times as much. It's $600, and the price hasn't changed. And I think part of the reason the price hasn't changed is it continues to get better. At some point, I'm sure they'll have to offer another model, and you don't charge them. They're just basically updates, as they come along, and so you're getting updates, and each time you get an update, you get improvements that they've provided you, and you have to go through they rarely come with notes, which is I've actually wrote about that. About, correct me if I'm wrong, Shelley, about 6 or 8 months ago, we lost service on the 3-track right here. It wasn't recording, and we were about to head someplace to do some field recording, and we lost that completely. And I called Rode. And their California offices are an Australian company, but they have California offices. What to do? They said, send it back. We'll repair it and send it back to you. And they said, is it under warranty? And it was 2 years out of warranty. It has a 1-year warranty on it. And it was out. And I thought, I'm okay with that. I hate losing it for that long. And we had a substitute. We actually have a Zoom P4, which is a very portable device. That's what we use in the field now. But it's substitute. It's not the greatest substitute because it's only that big. So it's kind of fumbly fingered. But we sent it off to Rode, and I said, call me when you figure out how much it's going to cost me, because I wanted to know that it's not going to be another $600. I'll just buy a new one. And pardon me.
I said, didn't like that.
What's going on over there?
I was going to add mine to the screen, but it doesn't work. Never mind.
Oh, you can't do
Pay no
yours?
attention to the man behind the curtain.
Oh, okay. All right. So we
Sorry.
sent it off to Rodecaster. They called and they said, we found out what the problem is. We don't think we have to charge you. I said, oh, okay. Well, I'm okay with that, even though it wasn't on that it was out of warranty. Well, about a week later, I got a box in the I was going to say the mail, but of course it was the UPS or FedExpress. It wasn't even that long. It was gone. My box was gone for about a week total, from the time I sent it to the time I got it back. And what they did is they sent me a brand new one. So completely updated and everything. So because on the customer service scale, it was outstanding. And we speak of this highly. I have yet, Zoom produces a similar model, and I'm sure it works just as good, but I'm so happy with this one that I have no reason to change. And ask Shelley, I'm pretty easy to jump when I see something that does something better, that does better than what I presently have. I don't have any problem with that. But I haven't had to jump from this. Like I said, I've owned it for 3 years now, and I'm not ready.
And the price has stayed steady. It's
Yeah.
$5.99, and it started out that much about 3 years ago. That just tells you that people are still excited to have one, and
Are willing to pay the price.
they don't lose their value. Once you buy it, it keeps its value. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, they're continuing to make improvements to it. With the way they thought it out to begin with, there's very little physically you can add to this. that would make it better. There's a lot that you can do digitally, and they keep doing it. Every 3 or 4 months, we get another version of the software, the firmware, and we download it and we find out we have completely new features. I did want to point out that when you look at the top of this, not only do you have the slider controls, but over here you have the that's your record button. These are level controls for the headsets, so each one of the headsets can be individually controlled in terms of volume, and then this volume setting is for the studio monitors. And then down here, and I have yet to figure out why you would want to do that. Maybe your producer wants to listen in while you're doing a show. There's a 3.5 millimeter output, so you can plug another headset in there. I know people who have used it to make an external recording. They plug it into a handheld recorder so they can take the recording home. Now, it doesn't split up the tracks the way that the Rodecaster does, but if you want to make a recording, you can use that 3.5 millimeter output plug to do that. So let's see if there's any other pictures that we want to. It's not a briefcase sized or weight. It is pretty heavy. It's hefty. And like I said, there is a case for it. We don't travel it. We have travel options that we use when we went to a conference. We did 18 or 20 interviews at a conference, and we took the Zoom P4, which is much smaller, much more compact. So this one sits on the desk and stays happily there. I dust it twice a week.
Now, you could travel with it if you wanted to,
Yeah,
but we prefer to travel with something smaller.
Yeah, it would take up a lot of space, and we're always taking a bunch of junk with us. So if you order today and you're Prime, you get one on my birthday, Monday, January 17th. Just thought I'd squeeze that in there.
Yeah.
All right, where do we go from there? Can you talk about headsets? I have to take a little break. Can you do that?
Sure.
Okay. Just give me a second, and I will be right back. Let me see. The headsets there. Okay, I'll be right back.
All right. Well, as you see on the screen there, we have the Audio Technica BPH S2 broadcast stereo headset with hypercardioid dynamic boom microphone. And we have had the set that we use in the studio. We've had those for about 4 or 5 years. And then we got another set so that I could have one at home, and we have one for when we travel. And because we like them that much. We can use them in noisy situations. For instance, if somebody's outside doing landscaping or vacuuming in the other room or something, you won't hear that because this microphone is set up to only pick up your voice, what's right here. It's not going to pick up other people. And the reason that we need to use them in our studio is because Toby's voice will get picked up in my microphone if we're using, say, a Yeti or some other Blue microphone or some other desktop microphone. If we are both in the same room using two desktop microphones, his voice will get picked up by my microphone. And it can set up kind of a echoey sound that we just don't like. So we go with the headsets with the cardioid mic, dynamic boom mic that's right in front of our face, and it doesn't pick up any outside sounds. It's great if you want to go to, say, if you're at a convention or a conference and you're trying to do some kind of a recording within the conference and it's really loud and noisy, you can put this on and you can hear what you're supposed to hear, and it only picks up your voice, so you're not getting a lot of outside noise. And again, Toby mentioned that it is a XLR and a 1/4-inch phono for the headset, so you would need something to adapt if you're going to use it with your computer, such as the Rodecaster or, like we showed earlier, the audio interface, which I have here. And that's where I plug it into for my computer. And Toby, yeah, you can take over at this point.
So I don't know how much Shelley. I'm going to assume that Shelley's used these now long enough that she knows a great deal about them. But basically, there's several advantages to them. Again, they're designed for sports broadcasters, and so it isolates the sound here. And when you have a voice like Shelley's, it picks up that sound. But the other cool thing, because it's XLR input, it provides a lot of data into the Roadcaster, and the Roadcaster has a set of effects associated with it with the XLR, so that I can actually control a lot of the things that are happening on this microphone, depending on our voices. So I can, I can set the modulation at high, medium, or low. I can set the tone at high, medium, or low. I can set the volume at high, medium, and I have all those controls. And because this is an XLR input, this microphone's an XLR input, it knows what to do with that signal. So the combination of the fact that I have this great microphone in front of me, and I have all the capabilities to modify that sound inside the Roadcaster, makes for really good sound. And we have used these in the field in trade shows, for example. And although you can hear the standard trade show murmur in the background, you could have a couple of salespeople standing next to you having a conversation, and it doesn't interrupt what you're saying. You hear kind of a murmur in the background, but you still hear it in the same way that if you listen to a football game. I've owned the Sennheiser version of this model. It's probably 3 times the price, and it is not 3 times as good. I mean, it's basically the same quality for 1/3 the price. And like I said, we have 4 of them, so we love them a lot. And if you ever do anything like podcasting or live streaming, and you don't want the cumbersomeness of a separate headphone and a microphone, this is a very good solution. Now we have friends who say, I can't do that. I can't wear the headset. But sooner or later, if you're looking for a quality production, you're going to wear the headset just to hear what's going on. So you may as well have that microphone. If I had a microphone in front of me, and I have one sitting over there, I'm not going to bring it over. But if I had a microphone in front of me and I went to turn to Shelley to talk to her, that microphone would lose me, because it's designed to be cardioid, very directional. So so we love these. There is we show up with headsets, but we're in a studio, and we've worked in studios before. In every other studio, whether it was radio or television studio that we've worked in, we've had to wear headsets behind the screen. So we're okay with it.
And if you have somebody calling you, for instance, I was on a Zoom call with somebody the other day, and she had me on speakers, and I could hear an echo when I talked. It would echo on her speakers, and I could hear myself, bounce back. And you don't get that when you wear a headset. You eliminate all of that echo and bounce back. And this is completely movable and everything. So if I needed to, I could turn it around. It just goes, I have it this way because the cord is on this side. So whatever side you need the cord to be on, you can flip it around and just readjust the mic. Because the one that I have in the studio, I wear it the other way around, because the cord needs to be on the other side. So it's real easy to adjust how you're wearing it.
Either side, and you have the best possible. This is funny because it doesn't fit right for me here. I got to go back to the other.
And again, this headset does not lose its value. This has been the price of this headset for years. It hasn't, it doesn't go down, because it's just a high quality headset, and it doesn't lose its value. So highly recommend it.
You don't see a price drop on this until they come out with the next model, the next version. That's
even then.
Even then, and Audio Technica has traditionally, when they do come out with a new model, they don't leave the other model out there. They wait until they're sold out. But you can't find them on eBay. You might be able to
they're long lasting. So yeah, you can get, you can expect a lot of years of use out of it.
Yeah.
They're very sturdy.
This is another one of those things that we've had so long. I mean, I've probably had the set that we're using now since 2017, when we started live streaming from my other house. So
Mhm.
been around a long time.
Mhm.
So we are going on. Oh, we started it. We're only going on an hour, so we're good. Okay, let's talk a little bit about lighting. So we know that people go through a lot to get good, even, smooth lighting, relatively shadowless, unless you're doing the kind of show that requires highlighting, a key light on one side and a fill light on the other. We like nice, even lighting. And we discovered a long time ago that if you get a pair of these 125 watt CFL compact fluorescent light, and we mount them, you saw in that picture. Let me see if I have them in the photo that you guys saw. Yeah, here they are right there. So they're mounted up on the wall in a pair of fixtures. And that's the only light for us in the room. There are some overhead and slightly behind me that light the green screen, but that's the only light we have in this room. It's enough light because of the combination of the light and the walls that it puts a nice, even, smooth lighting. I mean, look at this in the best face in the world to look at, but I guarantee you, even though it's not the prettiest, it's the most evenly lighted. And it's always fun to go into when Shelly and I go into a Zoom meeting with a bunch of other people because we are always the best lit Zoom window in there. It literally makes us stand out, and they're very inexpensive. These things, as you can see, the pair are $37.99. They have a mean time between failure of 8,000 hours. So that's a lot of, I mean, that's years worth of live streaming time. So it's not a big deal. We do have a set in the closet, an extra set. Should I go get it? Let me see if I can reach it.
So I have the same lights up here on my wall facing me. So you can see my lighting is very even and it lights my pop up green screen really well. I do have overhead lights as well, but the lights are at a 45-degree angle up here and up here. And that's going to provide that nice even lighting and light my green screen as well.
So you can see how big they are. I'm gonna do the two up for us here, so I can show them to you. They come in two boxes. So this comes in an Amazon box, and then the light comes in this plastic container. And I'm not going to open it because it always is a pain in the butt to get it back together. But that's the compact fluorescent. This is a standard fixture mount. That's a standard US fixture mount. It's wrapped in foam, but you can see how big it is. And it puts out 125 watts of fluorescent. That's the CFL compact fluorescent. So effectively, at $38 for the two, they're $19 a piece. But because they have 8,000 hours worth of life, you're not going to have to buy them every year. You'll buy them every 3, 4, maybe 5 years, depending on how much time you spend in the studio. And again, all it takes is two. Right? One over there, 45 degrees that way, 45 degrees that way, and 45 degrees up. Perfect lighting for the kind of work that we're doing. So if you want something a bit moodier, you might change it. You might put 125 watts up there and 85 watts up there, and that would give you a key and fill light effect. But the combination of the lights and the fact that it's an otherwise white room, what?
I was just playing with my.
Things.
Oh, look how bright they are.
They will get real bright. The combination of the fact you've got 125 watts and there are the walls in here are not white. The ceiling is white, but the walls are kind of off white, eggshell, whatever they call it. But it's reflecting off of that. We just let them do the reflecting off of that. You'd think with a bare bulb, it would be real harsh lighting. It's not. It's very regular, even lighting, and we like them a lot. Now, what we recommend is that in order to get them mounted on the wall, these were the best fixtures we found. They support the light. Now they come with these antique lights, which are actually pretty cool. Let's go up here. And you'll see up here they have thumb screws on them, so you can turn them facing up. I took the what are those called? Reflectors off.
Or shades, yeah.
The shades. I took them off, and then I just used the thumb screw right here to turn them facing up. And they plug. You need these two screws. If you find some wall, what do you call them? Those plastic screw things to screw them in the wall for drywall. adapters. That's all that is. You screw those in there, and then it has a plug and on-off switch. So they're very convenient. And again, between the two of them, I mean, I know this is going to sound crazy when I say this, but you could technically, so you could technically light your studio. So what were the bulbs? 37, and these are 27,
20,
60,
25.
25.99. So
Hmm.
60, 70, $73. For $73, you have a lighting solution for your studio that doesn't require any effort. No setting up soft boxes, no
Hmm.
setting up, and they're off the ground, so there's no light stands to trip over. And I am a master, I tell you, a master of tripping over light stands and light.
Yeah, you mount them on the wall, you plug them in, and personally, I have mine plugged into a socket that I can flip a switch and have them come on when I'm ready to use them. So they're just so easy. I can't tell you enough how often I'm so glad that I have these easy lights to just flip a switch, they come on, I look great, and I even have to adjust my camera down, to 40%, because they're so bright, but they're not burning me, and they're not adding heat to the room because they're CFLs.
Right there, yeah, that's the other thing too, is they run very unlike halogens or even tungstens. They don't run hot; they run cool. Now you can't put your hand up there and touch them. They do run a little warm, but certainly not as warm as halogens or tungstens. And they have that again, the really long life associated with them. So it's an easy lighting solution if you're going to build a studio in a what used to be a bedroom. And again, we
Mhm.
do this for some of our clients. Some of our clients will ask us, could you show me how to build a studio in one of my bedrooms? And we start with the lights, put up the lights, and it improves it right away. And as Shelley said, we have to bring our camera levels down. We have more light than we need. We have to bring our camera levels down in order to accommodate the amount of light we have. So um, we like the CFLs. Again, they're very inexpensive and they're long lasting, 8,000 hours minimum. So let's go to this camera. Now the Logitech, we use the C925. There is a new one out, a 4K camera they just announced. But I'm gonna did we get the same thing for you, or is yours different, Shell?
Mine's the 920.
The nine
It's the
it's
older model.
one
Mhm.
model out of date.
But the
So I'm
Logitech
gonna
is so good that it doesn't matter. You get any model of Logitech, and it's going to be a good quality camera.
yeah, yeah. So I'm going to pop my full screen for just a second so you can see the quality of the image, right? I wish I could do it. Actually, let's do Shelly because you look better. Up your go full screen.
Yeah, but we're showing your camera, so you do it.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to pop full screen just long enough to scare you, and then I'm going to go back. All right. So this is me full screen. That camera is probably 4.5 feet away from me, and you couldn't tell the difference. You couldn't tell if this was a DSLR. Now, some people will say I like the DSLR because I can put the background out of focus. Well, you can, but I can do that just by taking the green screen photo behind me and making that out of focus, and it looks like it's out of focus, and I can make it darker, etc. The camera,
The
it's
DSLR cameras will change focus on you
yeah,
too.
yeah.
They're
We have
annoying, and
we
you have such
finally
a narrow depth of field, you can move your chair and you're out of focus.
yeah. Yeah,
Ugh,
we had a
stressful.
client that wanted to start with a DSLR, and it always requires anytime you decide to use on a DSLR, and I'm not criticizing you, you do what you do, right? But the minute you go to a DSLR, there's a couple of things that are going to happen. One is you're going to have to deal with things like autofocus, auto exposure, things like that. You move out of the lens and it's going to change the exposure or the focus on you. But even more importantly, it requires additional pieces in the video chain, right? You either
Mhm.
have to have a box that converts the HDMI signal into a USB signal, because most applications like this, most streaming applications, including OBS, don't accommodate an HDMI signal. they accommodate a camera with a USB port. So you have to convert that HDMI into USB. The second thing is you can do that with a piece of hardware, which you can buy, adding to the cost, or you can do it with a piece of software. And honestly, if I had a choice, I would do it with the hardware of the software, because the software creates a whole new set of problems for you trying to live stream. Now,
Plus, why do you want to take a DSLR camera out of commission just to do a
exactly.
live
The-
stream when you can just plug and play with a Logitech webcam? It's just
Yeah,
so much easier.
and not have to touch it,
And
right?
it's made for it. It coordinates with all the video making software like Zoom or Google Duo or anything that you need to use for your video conferencing. It works and it understands what you're doing. So it's much easier to work with than any other kind of camera if you're going to be doing streaming from your desktop. Just
Yeah. The-
do it.
do it. Do it this
Do it.
way.
Do it.
Um, Again, we have several clients. At least two of them started at somebody else's recommendation with the
Mm.
35 millimeter camera, and these are people who haven't spent time live streaming. Right, that's why they come to us. And so right away, when they tell us they've bought well, it's three. I know three: Kathy, Janet, and Warner. They all started at somebody else's advice with a 35 millimeter camera, and we eventually had to talk them down off of that just for they couldn't get it to work. Well, what else do I need? So we started telling them what else they needed, either from hardware or software, and eventually we'd show them, we use a Logitech webcam.
It's $69. Why would you go spend
Exactly.
$600 on a DSLR when you could spend 69 and get this gorgeous video shot?
Yeah,
And what they really need is just good lighting.
right.
That's
That's
usually the problem is the
that's
lighting, and they think it's the camera, but it's not the
right.
camera.
Yeah, yeah. So it's not going to help. It's not going to make. It's not going to give you a big change in what you're looking at. This is the 925C compact. It opens up. We have it literally on a light stand in front of me, and if we ever need to make adjustments, we just move the camera up and down, or if we need to make side to side adjustments, we move the light stand from side to
Or
side.
you can put
Once,
it on the top of your monitor, which is what I do.
yeah,
Mhm.
but what's cool about it is uh, it's plug and play, right? Once you set it up, you don't have to do anything else. Every time we start a live stream, it finds it, it lights up the green light, and you go forward. The other kind of cool thing about this, we don't use it, but it also has a pair of microphones, stereo microphones embedded into it. So if you don't have a microphone, you can use the microphones on the camera as your input. And I don't know who we were talking to recently, and I could tell their microphone was off. I could tell because I'd listened to them. They didn't know it. They were talking to the microphones in the camera, and it sounded okay to them when they were hearing themselves. So I think that would be true for most people. So in a pinch, if your roadcaster died, for example, we would just talk to the camera, and it would work fine. So
Yeah, so
yeah,
if all you have is a webcam, you can do audio and video from it.
right, yeah,
Yeah. But get the Logitech because the off brands in webcams, you can tell the difference.
yeah.
And Logitech makes the best. They've been at it the longest. They know what they're doing. So do not skimp and go with an off brand to save $10 because you will be sorry and you'll end up buying a Logitech later anyway.
That's really true. That is how it goes, right? You buy another one, you try it out, you go like, "This is terrible." We bought another camera to use as an overhead, and
Mm,
it was so bad. And I paid, I don't want to pay $70 for it. It's an overhead camera. It was so bad, I had to get. All it was doing was an overhead, and it was
yeah.
so bad, I tossed it. I
Yeah.
literally made the trip to the nearby Goodwill. So I'm sure there's somebody. So these are our studio. They refer to them as studio monitors. They're very high quality, heavy duty audio monitors. So when you want to listen to something without putting on your headset, you're not going to be using it as microphone, but you want to put it on your headset. Treat yourself to some monitors. These are the E3.5 that refers to the size of the speaker. We're in the kind of room I'm gonna open up the picture because I want to show you a couple of things. So they have a tweeter and a woofer, and they're high quality. They come with all the necessary cables. The back has connections for quarter inch or RCA connections or wired connections. The wire is actually an output to the input to the second speaker. It's all controlled over here, power supplied down here. But for the size studio that we have, we don't need anything else. This is plenty of speaker in here. They're made by PreSonus, and they're the Eris models, very compact. But they're those kind of speakers because of they have both the woofer and the tweeter. They have the magnets associated with them. They're heavy. I mean, they're between the two of them, they're 15 pounds between the two of them. So, but very, very good studio monitors. So let's go to iPad.
Okay.
So iPad, we had a pair of iPads as studio monitors for years, but they were the old 1442 models, the smaller models, and they were at the point where they couldn't do updates anymore. They were beyond. I think they stopped updating at iOS 12. But they were okay. They were slow. When we got them, we didn't get them with a lot of memory. They were only 32 gigabytes and they're smaller. So I felt like it was time for us, to get another monitor. And I thought, well, let me go with a bigger one and as many gigabytes of memory as I can. So as usual, when it comes to these things, I always go to the renewed store. I always look for the ones that are renewed. And I've never, I'm sure there are people that will fight with me. And as a matter of fact, if you go see the ratings, you'll see people that say, "Oh, I got screwed." I don't. I've been very fortunate. I think it has to do with my karma. I have a lot of good karma, so I buy my phones. Although this last one I didn't because they offered me a deal at the T-Mobile store. But so I got it. I went to the renewed store, and they have a 90-day return policy. And so you have an option of I got it, I don't like it, we'll get it back, and they'll give you your money back. I decided to go with a 512 gigabyte cellular model. That means I have two cell phones in front of me, two different phone numbers, both T-Mobile. If I want to take one of them and take the SIM card out of this, I can put it into my iPad, and it can be used as a phone. Now it doesn't, you can.
Which means you can use it to without Wi-Fi. So if you
Right.
went somewhere on a trip or whatever and you took it with you, you could use you could use it on the
A
road.
cellular signal. Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's
cellular signal. Yeah.
it's 5G capable, and I do have 5G in both of my phones. So like I said, all I have to do is take the SIM card. I have in front of me, I have an 11 and a 12, both Pro Max. And I could take the SIM card out of the 11, put it in the iPad if I was traveling, and it would light up. I'd have a T-Mobile account.
Mhm.
So let me go to pictures. It's the 12.9 inch full Retina X monitor or screen. It's very thin. It's heavy in comparison to the iPads that I've owned in the past, but it's your traditional iPad. I did not get the version that had 3 lenses. That's a later model. I don't need that. I do have this is 12 Pro Max, and it has the 3 lenses on it, as well as the LiDAR lens for 3D modeling if you're into that. This one doesn't, but it's fine. I don't do a lot of photography with this anyway. The thing that I use it for, in addition to that's the reason Shelley's laughing, is because she knows that's not quite true. I do take pictures with it, but what I really use it for is when I'm photographing in the studio, I use it as my tether monitor. So the camera model brand that I use, the Panasonic Lumix, has a wireless communications wireless transmitter receiver in it, and it wirelessly transmits and receives to this iPad. So I get the really big picture on the iPad, and when it's tethered, I'm using my iPad as a camera monitor, and so I get a great big picture with it. Where did you go?
Why don't you hold up?
Oh, the iPad.
Yeah, why don't you hold up the iPad?
Let me see what it'll do when I do that. So that's what it looks like. So right now I'm using it as a monitor. You can see I'm using it as a monitor to monitor tonight's show. So it's very capable, very full size. I have a case on it. We're going to talk about that. It has the one lens, and I have it plugged in to power it. So I noticed it has a long-lived battery, but it takes longer than any other iPad that I've owned to power up. I guess that has to do with the
To recharge, you
price
mean?
to recharge, not to power up. And when it comes to performance, there's no comparison when you compare it to my old iPads, which I still have actually. When you compare it to those iPads to this new one, when it comes to performance and how it handles videos and transitions between applications and things, they're literally it's like night and day. So great product. I'm very happy with it. The renewable, I pretty much consistently buy renewables. When we got Shelly a new phone, that was a renewable, the renewed one, and it works perfectly. And up until this point, up until recently, I used to buy all my iPhones as renewed products. Recently, I've been, because they've had deals for me at T-Mobile. You know, upgrade for $200, and they go, okay, I'll do that. Why not? So you can see last time I bought this was December 23rd. So that's how long I've had it.
Merry Christmas.
Really enjoyed it. Gave Toby his own Christmas present.
That's right.
Now, I wanted a case for it because you want cases for all your electronic devices. So this is the one I got, the Batu iPad Pro 12.9 case. And you can see some of the cool features that comes with it. Not only, it's one of those 3 pieces. Let me see if they actually show them. It's actually 3 pieces, a front, a back, and then the rubber wraparound thing. And so it's very protective. I haven't tried the 1 meter drop test, nor do I plan. But a couple of the cool things about it is it has let me see which picture has it. It has a stand in it that folds in and out, and it also has the handhold in it. So if you want to hold it in your hand, you've got a convenient way not to drop it. So it fit perfectly. I got the bright red one because I lose things around my house, and if I don't have something bright on it, especially when it comes, all my furniture is either dark furniture or black glass tops. So when I put my phone down on it with a black screen, it takes me hours wandering around my house. I spend a lot of time.
Siri, where are you?
Yeah, and when you have more than one device, and you say, "Siri, where are you?" You hear 5 Siris all from different rooms going, "I'm here, I'm here, I'm right here, Tobe." So,
So that's a good price on that. Is that save? Get
Prime.
it.
You get $5.10 Prime rating if you are right now, and that's another short delivery. If I ordered it right now, it'd arrive on Sunday, and they do because the warehouse you don't get a UPS or a USPS or FedEx. You get an Amazon truck comes by, and they deliver it straight from the warehouse, which is kind of cool. It also has a mounting.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see if there's a bit of
Save 15%, lowest price in 30 days.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, I paid more for it because it was on 30 days. But I wanted to show you the other cool thing about it is you have a slot right here that for your Apple
Support pencil wireless charging.
Yeah.
So it charges your
pencil. If it's an Apple pencil. Mine's not
Oh.
an Apple. Mine's an Apple knockoff, so it doesn't charge it,
Oh, I see.
unfortunately. But if you have an Apple pencil, it charges your Apple pencil.
Oh,
Pretty neat, huh?
yeah.
Okay, so I didn't buy the phone, but I did buy the case. So this is not an Otter case. This is a Cloud Valley case, but it had some really cool features. I'm going to let's go to duo screen here and I can still show you. So this is my iPhone 12 Pro Max. This is the case. It's one of those 2-piece cases. It has the 2 black pieces and then the rubber fits around it. You have to literally, this is one of those things where you have to read the instructions in order to mount it. Has all those cool features, including the bounce protection. It also comes with some replaceable clear screens, plastic, whatever they make them out of, to protect your screen so you don't crack your screen. It comes with it. But on the back, it's kind of cool because it has this little window that protects your lenses. So if you don't end up scratching your lenses or getting them dirty when you're just handling the phone. And then it has this ring, and the ring can either act for holding your phone. Now, I don't know. I think you must have to have longer fingers than I have in order to do that whole one-handed thing, take pictures. I have yet to master the, hold the phone up and take a selfie. Not that I take a lot of selfies, but the ring's there. But the ring, and I can't show it to you because I'd have to put it on the table, also acts as a stand, either vertically or horizontally. So it has a lot of nice little features associated with it. Folds flat on the phone. The bad news is that my car comes with one of those wireless chargers, like Shelly was showing you. It's actually in the car. You lay the phone down inside where the cup holders and all that stuff are, and it charges it. But this has enough space because of this ring that when I do put it down there, it's too far away from the wireless charger to charge. So I have to plug it in to charge in the car. So very nifty little piece of kit. Oops, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to do that. So, and I don't see any specials. There's a $3 off for Prime. If you do it, I got this back in September when I got my new model of phone. And I've been very happy with it. Wouldn't change it for anything right now. So let me talk a little bit about this computer. This also was purchased at the Renewed store. The last one we purchased, was that yours, Shelly, in
Yes.
2020? So I bought one of these further back than 2020. It was, as you can see, Renewed. The price is $344. It has a 2 terabyte hard drive, 32 gigabytes worth of memory. It has an NVIDIA Quadro 2000. So the reason I got it is because at the time we had another Dell. It wasn't a workstation. It was a Dell PC. And it was struggling with the level of live streaming that we're doing. It was, it would clunk out on us every once in a while. So I felt we needed to get something else. And again, I went to the Renewed store and found the Dell. It's the E5 2650. You can still buy them. As you can see, they're $344. They have the Xeon E5 processor in it. Oh, the model, I'm sorry. It's the T3600. The Xeon processor is the E5. The Xeon processors are Intel workstation processors and plenty of performance. In addition, like I said, it comes with that Quadro 2000 video graphics card. And so we have literally never had a problem. It has 2 HDMI inputs. So that's what outputs, which powers the monitors. It also has a DVI input output. I don't use it. We do have another touchscreen monitor that we play with every once in a while if we're doing a training session. So it has plenty of that. It has, let's see, 10 USB ports, 6 on the back and 4 on the front. It has an Ethernet connection, of course, but it's plenty of performance. It really is good. It starts up right away. When I bought it, it was Windows 10. I don't know if it's coming with the latest version of Windows now. What's the latest version of Windows?
11.
11. So they probably do. I did have a question about performance once, and I called their customer support, and basically I was doing something wrong. It was my fault for what was doing, and I had to change it in my Windows services. But 32 gigabytes is plenty of memory for what we're doing, and the 2 terabyte hard drive is plenty of hard drive for what we're doing. We haven't come anywhere near filling it up, and I have a 5 terabyte external to back it up with. So, but for the price, the only thing you need at that point is a monitor. It does come with the wired keyboard and mouse. We always replace that with a wireless keyboard and mouse, but
Not always. I'm still using the
are you
wired
still using the wired?
keyboard and mouse
Are you?
that came with mine. Yeah.
So anyway, I bought it here, and then I don't know what happened. I decided to get another one. Why? What made me decide to get another one? What was it?
You got it from me.
Well, did I give you the new one, or did I give you the old one and just get another one to replace this?
I got that one, May 7th, 2020. That one's mine.
Oh, okay. All right.
I've
So
since
anyway,
replaced the hard drive.
Oh, that's right.
The C drive went out on it when Windows did some kind of big update in
Right.
2021.
Right. Now I remember. So your computer, the one that you had, went bad for a Windows update, and we needed to replace it. So we decided to go with this because you can't beat the price, honestly. So that's how we went with that. So we've been real happy with both. No problems with either since. Shelly does a lot of live streaming on her own. and a lot of Zoom conference calls, and never had a problem with it. So, and I've probably bought mine. I think we bought it when I was still in the apartments, right?
Oh yeah.
Before I moved here. So I've
Mm.
had it at least 3, probably closer to 4 years without so much of a problem. Every once in a while, I'll get a wild hair and say, "Oh, we need another computer," and then I go like, "Why? It does everything I need it to." So I don't know if it'll be that way forever, but I'm happy with it now. Here's the only thing that it doesn't have. It doesn't have a wireless, a Wi-Fi connector. It doesn't come with a Wi-Fi card. So you have to get one of these $13 adapters. And it plugs into a USB port and basically puts it on your Wi-Fi. The only time I need it, I mean, it's connected to the internet via Ethernet. I have an Ethernet connection straight to my route, not my router, but my modem, basically, because we use Xfinity cable, and it's connected to the computer with a modem. And I think we're supposed to get, I don't know, 1,000 gigabytes. Let's see
I
what.
don't know. People don't need to see what you're doing here.
Yes, I do. Yeah, we're going to show them. We're going to prove it to them that we can get this kind of performance. Here, wait, put me back on the screen.
You're on the screen.
No, I mean put my screen back on the screen.
Oh.
There we go. So ping is 3, and it doesn't go that high, but we're what they give us is up to 1 gigabyte. So you can see we get pretty good performance up at the, off of this, and then download or upload rather is 40 gigabytes, I think. So it's no problem with it when you use Xfinity, and this is for around the house. So if I want to move a file from the iPad, for example, to the hard drive on here, I can find it on the Wi-Fi network and just transmit it that way. So that was the only kind of weakness I didn't find. It was funny because I just assumed that they all come, all your laptops come with a Wi-Fi card installed. I just assumed it did, and I didn't know it until it got here. So I just bought this. You can buy a card and install a card. They're not very much more expensive. They run $35, but this just plugs into your USB port. And since I'm not using it as a center point, I'm just using it to transmit occasionally. It worked fine. So I think that's it. Oh no, we got to talk about our Canon. So this is our 644 CDW wireless laser all-in-one color printer. I don't know how to tell you how well it prints out, and how good it is. And you have some buying options. I wonder if there's an upgrade here. Let me see what the buying options are now. So yeah, you're not going to find it on Prime. There's a free delivery for $5.79, but you have to find a set of other than Canon toner cartridges that work for you, because I probably shouldn't do this. If you buy the Canon toner cartridges, there's 4 of them: red, cyan, magenta, yellow, and black, and they're like $300. I mean, they're a fortune, but you can find them. I found a company that sells the same set that works perfectly for around $85. Don't have to change them that often, but it's worth it just to get the beautiful color pictures that you get out of, especially if you're printing out a document that has color in it as part of the document. So we're real happy with it. It's on the internet, so I can be in the other room and I can print a document while I'm, sitting at breakfast or whatever. It'll ship here because it is on the network. It is on the wireless network, so it makes it easy to use. It's also a scanner. It'll scan things and send them straight to your computer, and it is a copier as well. So it
And
does.
a fax, you can do faxes.
You can do fax if you have
Because anything you can scan with on your computer, you can then send by computer, I guess.
And that's kind of the point, right? It's not a fax in the traditional fax sense of the word. You're not going over a phone line. You're scanning and then emailing it to someone. So it's the equivalent. I don't think we can even use the word fax anymore. They're not really. Can you buy a fax? Can you buy a fax machine?
I don't know. Do we need to?
I don't know. I'm just curious.
Oh.
Yeah, see, you can't. Oh, you can. High-speed mono laser fax machine. Yay.
See?
I'm sure that makes the FBI happy. They love fax machines. Okay, I think that is all for tonight. You have literally seen everything in our studio, short of the individual cables connecting them all together, and one light stand that holds up my camera in front of me. And in addition, you got to see the things that are at that cup of Shelley's. Now I'm going to have to order the damn cup. I'll probably do that after this show.
Yeah, my Kosori,
Yeah,
the cup, but the best part is
the
the
heating
heating
pad.
pad because
Yeah.
it keeps your coffee hot until you finish it. And for me, I
There's
spend
something.
all morning drinking the coffee. I make about, half a pot of coffee and I drink it throughout the morning. So it keeps it hot. I got to have my hot, coffee. Otherwise, it would be cold by the time I finished.
So everything you need to know about us is scrolling on the crawl below. So it has our email addresses, our web addresses, our phone number. If you want to call and ask a question, you can via text, send it by text, or leave a voicemail. We'll be happy to answer your question. You can send us an email. Make sure that if you watch this, you click on the button over to your left that says follow. So that way, every time we start a live stream, you'll be informed, and as a result, in the know, because we're talking about the cool stuff.
That's right.
So that's our studio. We will play this again, in about a week or so. I like talking about our studio equipment, and I want to give people the opportunity to ask questions about some of the things that we use and why we use them. I will be on tomorrow night. We will be talking small set photography tomorrow night, and I'll have a shot for you that you can take a look at. I'll schedule it correctly. I don't know if Shelley's going to be with me or not on Saturdays. But
Well, yeah, probably so.
why not? We're both at home, aren't we? It's not like we're going out and dancing
In
up a
this
storm.
fancy place.
Yeah, you're living in your cabin in Vail there. I'm in my photo studio in New York City. So
Yeah, beautiful.
it looks like so. All right, guys, thanks for joining us tonight. We really appreciate you being here. We look forward to seeing you the next time we're on, and we're going to close it with our little outro. Good night, Shelley.
Bye-bye.
Find it by the end of the road. So I walk and I keep on walking. Though the shoes I wear are a mess. As I walk and I keep on walking. Till I'm at the end of the road.